Hey guys! Welcome
Wooga.
back to part 2 of Into Alfield, which is the name of Dice Dogs episode number 11.
Woo! Yeah! Soup!
Did you shout soup?
Soup. You've got soup!
Oh! Oh! Oh, coffee!
I love soup!
Well, I mean, coffee
Get
is
power to the
just
cave.
bean. I mean, coffee is just bean soup. So.
What was it that
True.
Sophie said the other day, where it was like, I have to give Connor back to the gays, or something like that?
I remember.
For
not
context,
fooling me,
I have the
you're
special ability to eat a banana in one bite.
You got throat game!
Oh,
Oh,
I'm so
Jesus!
excited! All 19 subscribers. But
My parents watch this show.
Well, too
Hi,
late.
sweetie. Hi,
Come here, Connor. You're mine now.
I don't want to. I don't want
Brian. You guys can
I
leave
don't
now.
want-
I've got
I don't
nowhere
want-
to sit
I
no
don't
more. He has the receipt. I've given him the receipt.
I do have the receipt. I have the Connor receipt. And proof in a mod chat that you belong to me.
No, you don't.
I already signed the paper.
I didn't
Yeah.
sign anything.
You don't have
I did.
Anyway, so
Well,
about 10 minutes has passed since you guys made your way into the building.
wait, so the guy just didn't answer my question at all. He just
No,
ignored
we'll
me.
get to that.
Fuck you, Gesh.
We'll get to that. Don't worry. About 5 minutes has passed since you guys got into the building, which you guys now know to be a shop called the Broad Barn, and
Ooh.
you can see you can see on the walls. There's like it's kind of like a farm supply store. There's different like farming tools and equipment that you can purchase here. Things like shovels and hoes and rakes and what have you. You also, for the more perceptive of you, and for those of you who care, there's also like a little rack that has packages of of Hero Portraits trading cards, just waiting for purchase.
Ooh.
But right now, this shop is serving as a safe house for the remnants of the people in Alfield after this attack. And you can see it's mostly halflings and humans who live in this particular small village, and they're kind of like clustered around. Some of them are working with Crownsguard to kind of like board up the windows and the doors. There's plenty of mothers trying to calm their crying children. It's just not a great sight to see anybody try to like pick up after an attack like this. But you see the Crownsguard doing their best to help like others. And so what have you guys been doing at this point?
trying to calm down.
Yeah, that said, a local veterinarian has come along and taken has spotted Princess in Fenkin's arms and offered to take a look at him, and he's basically taken him over to a counter and set him down, kind of like clothed him up. And you guys know, other than like this huge burn on Princess's side, he's going to be fine. He just needs to rest. He just needs to
And he was
rest.
very reluctant to hand Princess over. It took him a long while. He just sort of eyed the guy up and down, and he was like... and then he kept like an eye on him the whole time. And he's sort of been out of it a bit as he sees everything going on, because it sort of awakened some memories in him that he really did not want to remember at all. So he seems a little bit more out of it than usual, less focused.
All right. Eventually, as you guys kind of like get your bearings straight once more, the half-elven watchmaster from before, he kind of like saunters his way over to you guys, his morning star clipped to his side, and he says, "Can't thank you enough for everything you did, getting my people out of the cart like that. I do appreciate it."
What has happened here? Has this happened before?
Fuck if I know. First time this ever happened to me. Started about, I want to say, an hour ago. One of our guards, I heard screaming out in the northeastern gate. So I ran out to see what was the matter. Before I knew it, there were just rats everywhere. Hundreds of rats.
Where the rats?
Barely had enough time to raise the alarm and get the town evacuated before they started teaming in. Evidently, we were a bit too late.
We need to find where they came from. We need to empty out their nest.
You clipped a lot there, Dhuur'in. I'm going to need you to repeat what you said.
He said, we need to find where they came from. We need to empty out their nest.
The man kind of side smiles at that, and he nods, and he's like, I like this Drow. I'm a big fan of this Drow.
We like him too.
And he looks at you. What's your name, Drow?
Dhuur'in.
Dhuur'in. Dhuur'in? Not Dhuur'in Kolbavar.
Yes.
Dhuur'in Kolbavar of the Shepherds.
Yes.
Autograph.
And I motion to the rest of the party.
There's a moment where where his green eyes kind of like, where their green eyes kind of like sweep over all of you, and one at a time it starts to build up the realization, and the half elf sweeps out their arms and he says, "Well, shit. Well, goddamn. You know, when I got my correspondence from Florin, I got a letter from him a few weeks ago. Told me about a group of reprobates like you. I didn't think he was telling the truth, but now here you are. Well, shit. Providence is on my side, it looks like."
He's building the hype. He's doing groundwork. I love him.
Oh my god.
Hearing him say that, Nox kind of like brightened up a little bit, and she kind of spread her arms and did like a sort of curtsy at him and said, "We are at your service, sir."
As soon as you do that, Bryce salutes, slamming their fist up against their chest plate hard enough to like cause a spark. And he straight says, "Bryce Phelan, Watchmaster of Alfield."
What's the last name again?
Feelid, Feelid.
Feelid. His name is Bryce?
Bryce, yeah.
Bryce. Okay, cool.
Good to meet you. And I kind of linger by the front door of this shop.
I want to leave.
As you start to go, Bryce says, "Wouldn't do that if I were you. I still got scouts coming back. If there's any rats out there, we want to keep everybody quarantined until the all clear."
We'll destroy them.
Again, I love this Drow. I'm a big fan of this Drow. But seriously though, please keep the door closed. If anything, to keep my people safe. And he kind of nods towards like the citizens who are kind of like crowding around in bunches.
I nod and I toss my hood back and tousle my own hair.
Aww.
Oh, I should face.
Nox has her hands on her. She's kind of like shifting her way and thinking, and she says, "Well, I have a hard time believing that creatures like that would travel a great distance. They're so small and disgusting. I have to imagine that their nest or wherever they're from is somewhat nearby, maybe underground."
Much as I don't like to admit it, I think you got a point there. I heard stories about him, when I was just a wee pup. tales of rat men slinking through the woods. All the lumber folk would come back from a hard day's work talking about them. Never believed it myself. And look where that got us. And there's a moment where Bryce's face, it kind of turns red for a minute before they take a deep breath, and he puffs it out. And he says, and they say, look, here in Alfield, we believe in a hard day's work repaid with a hard day's pay. And they reach down and pull out a leather pouch and tosses it towards Nox.
Ooh. She will catch that. Absolutely. She will catch that with the reflexes of someone who is literally always ready to have a coin purse thrown at her.
So the purse lands in your hand, and as you open it up, you count about 20 gold pieces in there. And and as you start, as the gold kind of glints in your eye, Bryce nods and he says, and there's 20 more for each filthy rat ear that you bring back to me.
Oh. This interests her greatly. The premise of not only some money, but also just kind of the chance to go out and do something like hunt down some gross rat people.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say she nods and she says, "Oh, consider us hired."
He kind of looks at you all and he says, "Don't know where they came from? Don't give a shit. I want them dead. Every last one of them.
Ooh.
And from what I've heard about you folks, you're the ones to do it."
We are quite skilled at making dead things.
I can imagine. We might not be the biggest town in the Empire, but I want everybody to know one thing. You don't fuck with Alfield.
Oh.
And just as he says that, there's a sudden knock on the door behind them, and they twirl around with their hand on their flail. And there's like silence for a second before they look over at like the closest one of you. I'm gonna say it's Gesh, and they kind of like.
Oh.
Yeah, so Gesh slowly walks towards the door. Just
all right. The entire barn has gone completely silent after this knock at the door, and everybody's just kind of like watching the door as Bryce and Gesh kind of make their way over. And,
yeah, you can start to see the start of lightning breath fizzle on his chest.
Just building up, getting ready.
Building up. And then he grabs the barn door and just opens it just enough that he can see through to look at whoever is there.
Do you still have a dragon breath left or is that something you only use once a day?
I think it's twice. You can use it twice.
Let's go look. I don't know.
Because if it's only twice, you should definitely save it.
Just a second. After you use your breath weapon, you can't use it again until you complete a long or short rest.
Hit.
Oh well.
Oh, okay. Well, forget the whole.
No, you can
he just looks like he's
flavor.
He looks like he's ready to beat ass.
You can say for flavor, it's still building up. I don't mind. That's fine. We love flavor here at Dice Dogs. We're fans of flavor.
Fans of flavor.
But
yeah, so he peeks through to see whoever is there, and he sees.
So Bryce, he puts their hand on the door, and they look at you and they say, "All right, I'm gonna open it. If it's vaguely rat-shaped, I want you to break its fucking jaw."
All right. I can do it.
1, 2, 3, and they throw the latch aside, and the door comes open, and you bring your staff up, and a Crown's Guard is like, no, wait. And before you, Gesh, stands a very surprised-looking Crown's Guard, and 2 more behind him, and what appear to be like 6 or 7 farmers armed with like pitchforks and lumber hatchets. And the Crown's Guard in front of you, who's kind of like a young-looking kind of half-orc, he's just like, oh, I'm not a rat. Please don't. Oh God, please don't breathe fire on me. Please don't do it. Please.
Breathe fire.
Nox yells.
Nothing.
Oh,
can't hear you. What did Nox yell?
Oh, I'm sorry. Nox yells, prove it!
The guard kind of blinks, and he looks at the others, and he looks at Gesh, and honestly says, I don't like cheese very much.
Nox squints at him for a long few seconds, and then looks at Bryce and gives a little nod and says, "That one is not there."
He's good.
Yeah, so after
You like
Gesh just put his staff down, and he's just staring at the antics going on with Nox here before just walking back so that they have space to walk in.
So, as the door opens up a bit more for these newcomers to file their way in, some of the farmers rush over to meet with their families, while the Crown's Guard salute Bryce, and Bryce salutes them back. And kind of looking you guys up and down every now and then, the half-orc, he says, well, you were right. They all escaped towards the northeast. I think they're in the forest now, probably in the lumber mill. Other than that, the whole town's been evacuated.
This is where we will go.
Anybody else saying anything? Or?
Oh, sorry, I forgot that I was going to ask this earlier. Nox will kind of pause for a second and then say, it would seem their intent was not just to kill, but to take. Have there been any missing people in this town?
Bryce kind of scratches his head, and he's like, yeah, he knows that too, Well, did a head count, and except for the deceased, doesn't seem to be anybody missing.
And was there anyone missing before this attack started?
It's a small town. I would have known beforehand. What about you, Kyle? You hear anything? And Kyle, the half-orc, he just shakes his head like, no disappearances. All the lumber workers came back every single day, punched out, punched in.
Good, so at the very least we will probably not see any hostages.
Why would they only take the halflings, though? Do you think?
Those things, they aren't completely rats. They were misshapen.
Oh, they weren't, were they? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I've had a long
They weren't natural, is what I'm trying to say. Something or someone might have coerced them or created them in the first place to do just this.
Natural or not, they die all the same when you stick a sword in them. So,
That's it.
that in mind, if the town is all clear, and he gives Kyle a look, and Kyle nods, and Bryce says, alright, if it's all clear, I'll get everything sorted here. Why don't you 5 go hunt?
I
What
leave.
did you say?
So, like, he says, he's halfway through his sentence, why don't you guys go hunt? Slam! And you guys watch as, like, Dhuur'in's cloak kind of disappears behind the door as it closes.
Nox just sighs and says, yeah. She's just like, we will be back with good news soon. Thank you.
You take care of yourselves. Anything you report back, I'd really appreciate.
I'm already gone.
Of course. Dhuur'in did not wait.
No,
Of course, Dhuur'in didn't wait.
I'm gonna kill him.
Fenkin is still back, not really listening to the conversation, and like still next to Princess. So he hasn't really caught that Dhuur'in has left.
All right.
Oh.
So Fenkin, when you eventually look up from Princess, who is sound asleep by this point, you look up to see like a bunch of your friends leaving the building. Like, wait, what?
Very out of it, almost on the brink of like an anxiety attack. So when he looks up, he's like, it takes him a moment to actually register what he's looking at, and then he's sort of like, oh, and then he still somewhat out of it, collects his things and gets up and walks towards the door to head out as well.
All right. Before you can go, Fenkin, you feel somebody touch your wrist and kind of like grab it.
It stops, and he's still like kind of out of it. So he's just like, it doesn't really snap like he usually would. He just kind of looks and he would grab him.
As you look down, there is a very old, very ancient-looking halfling woman with very long, kind of white hair tied back in a bun, and she's kind of like doing that old woman shake, and she's got like wrinkles everywhere and all that, but she kind of like smiles up at you, and as you kind of like turn to face her, shaking hands slowly go into like a rucksack on her back, on her side, and eventually she produces like a small object wrapped in cheesecloth, and she holds it out to you.
He stares at her for a pretty long moment, and then he sort of rather gentle languid movements that he usually would not have. He's sort of very snappish. He lowers himself onto one knee and he takes it in his hand, and he wants to like unwrap it in front of her to see what it is.
All right. So you gently pull the cheesecloth aside, eventually to reveal what you at first think is like red glass, but instead it's a jar of red liquid with a cork. And you instantly recognize a health potion in your hands.
Oh, blinks at it, and then he looks up at the woman, like into her eyes, and then he says, "Thank you."
She brings her shaking hand up to like bring it over yours, over the flask, and in perfect Elvish says, "Child of the wood." And with that, her hands come away, and just in time for kind of like a young. There's kind of like a hurried-looking human boy about the age of 15. He kind of like makes his way over. He's like, Grandma! There you are, Nan. Come on!" And he puts his hand on the woman's shoulders and looks at Fenkin and he says, "I'm sorry. She's getting up there in age. You take care of yourself." And they turn around and he kind of like helps her, not like pushing her, but like gently helping his grandma along.
What did she say? Sorry.
Child of the wood.
Child of the wood.
He's still holding the jar or flask in his hand, and he sort of stares after her with almost empty-looking eyes as he seems sort of lost in thought or a memory. He hasn't heard that language or that term in a long, long time. And it sparks something in him, deep in him, that he had buried and he didn't really want to resurface. So he remains there in silence, just kind of frozen for a moment, until suddenly the noise around him comes back and snaps him out of his daze. And he gets up on his legs a little unsteadily and he puts the jar away and follows the others out.
All right. So as you guys make your way out of the broad barn and into the street, the devastation around you is quite palpable. You see broken wagons and like fruit vendor booths just kind of destroyed and burned out. Plenty of the buildings have like caved in on themselves after all the support has been burned away, and there's plenty of bodies littering the streets too, carved up and cut up, both of Ratman and of civilians in Crownsguard. But as you guys leave, you're kind of led along by Kyle and his platoon of Crownsguard, who take you guys over to the northeastern gate. And as you make your way over, he kind of points to the gate and says, "That's where the first of them started coming through. Can't imagine anybody in the lumber mill at the time is still alive, but if you just go right into the forest, it's about, 2-3 minutes walk before you get there."
I go.
Once again,
Dhuur'in is off.
Dhuur'in leaves in the middle of like the briefing, and Kyle kind of like watches him go, and then looks at Nox. He's like, he's a bit impatient, isn't he?
Yes, it is one of his vices. Thank you. I assure you, we will do this quickly.
Yeah, no problem. What's his name again?
The dark one?
Yeah, the dark one, yeah.
Dhuur'in.
Dhuur'in, yeah. Dhuur'in.
He's gonna crash.
Yeah. Good luck, be safe. Yeah.
Oh, you gotta crash.
She gives him a squinty look for a couple of seconds before returning a respectful nod and kind of jerking her head towards the rest of the party to motion they all head out after Dhuur'in.
All right.
Dhuur'in, you're just so sexy.
Not bad.
You're so sexy, and your dick is so big.
All
Sorry, I
right.
should have said that.
So
wow.
Where the four gates in Alfield kind of like lead off to different roads, the northeastern gate leads directly into the forest. It's like you get out of the gate and suddenly you're in the woods. There's like barely any road there, but you can see like kind of the pathway that the loggers and the lumber workers would take to get to the mill for their like morning shifts and all that. So but it's just a dense thicket of like pine trees and whatnot. So you guys making your way down?
Yes.
Yeah.
On my way downtown.
All right.
Making our way downtown. Around.
So for the first time in a long time, you're walking without Princess, and it feels weird.
Don't say that.
It feels weird for Gesh to not have her like sitting on your head and just kind of like laying down. Dhuur'in, it's weird to not feel like the weight on the back of your hood as he sleeps there. Nox, it's weird to not be fed cheese. Yeah, strangely enough.
It's very sad to not be fed cheese.
Yeah, it's a shame, really.
But you guys kind of like quietly make your way along, at first in a bit of silence, because you haven't just seen a town destroyed, you just watched a massacre. You watched families get torn apart, mothers who will never see their children again. More blood than likely any of you have ever seen before. And it's not a great feeling.
No, it's not great.
It's the truth.
Could be better.
I love not being able to sleep at night. That's great.
You get used to it.
But yeah, so you guys are walking through. So you guys are walking through the forest, kind of following this beaten path. Is there anything you guys want to do as you walk? Or?
I am walking with purpose. Very good.
With purpose.
Seeks out Ozla and just sort of quietly walks next to her. He doesn't like want to walk alone anymore right now. He doesn't say anything. He just walks next to her.
So, Ozla has never seen other halflings before, so seeing that village was like, especially with everything that happened, so she's a bit right now. But because she's so attuned to Fenkin, she knows that it isn't just her that's weirded out. And as he like joins up beside her, she doesn't like really look up from like her feet, but she slowly like links her hand up and like grasps at his wrist, or like wherever clothes she can find. And she sort of like breathes in and she's like, Fen, is this, can I ask you a question?
He looks down at her little hand, and then at her, and then into nothing as he solemnly nods and says, go on.
Is this how you feel when we're around other half-elves?
He's quiet a bit longer at that, and then he's a heavy sigh, and then says rather quietly, I don't know how you feel around others of your kind, but it surely can't be compared to how I feel.
I know. I didn't know if it was close. I feel weird. Like weird. I never really got to meet other halflings. And then seeing that it makes me feel uneasy. Like something's wrong.
At those words, he sort of like snaps back because he was in a daze and he sort of misunderstood what her words meant, and then realized she meant like actual his kind, like the half-blooded elves. And he looks at her for a long time and then says, that I do understand. It is not a pleasant sensation. Let's not think about it anymore.
Yeah. Okay. We got things to do anyways, don't we? We gotta
Feel don't feel.
What?
Feel don't feel.
And then he kind of reaches down and he sort of unhooks her fingers from his clothing and then sort of holds her hand instead in his.
By now, that's like a thing with them. And is
There's
there
like
anyone else you can get her fucking hands on?
So they don't really at that point. It's kind of like a silent comfort.
She holds
Alright.
her hand really tight.
What is everybody else doing with Dhuur'in in the front and Ozla and Fenkin having this moment behind them? I say everybody else, but it's just Gesh and Nox. So.
I was gonna say.
Yes.
Yeah, Nox has been kind of quiet. I think she's definitely been keeping an eye on Ozla, in particular, because although she doesn't really know the full extent of Ozla's like story prior to them all meeting, and any family she may or may not have, like she also kind of has the experience of like you don't see a Tabaxi very often, or really ever in this part of the world when you're just kind of walking around. So she kind of understands the basic idea of like feeling some type of way when you see people of your kind in a world where you don't see them very often. And she was kind of thinking to herself that if there had been a cart full of Tabaxi, she would have been feeling kind of rattled by it, even if she didn't know any of those people as individuals. So she just kind of got that thought in her head. But she hasn't really approached Ozla. She kind of was just watching her, and then when she sees kind of her and Fenkin kind of get together, she kind of has the feeling of like, okay, well, she's, someone is there for her right now, so that's good. And then she kind of will just like look at them for a second, kind of nod to herself, look away, back to focus on the walk that they're taking Yeah, that's probably it for now. She's kind of quiet. She's focused on this task.
All right, Gesh.
He's sort of run up to Kolbavar and he sort of leaned in and was like, "You need to stop rushing. It's going to get you hurt."
Are you cheating on me?
I can't help you if you keep running off like this.
Ooh.
I won't allow that to ever happen again.
That doesn't mean you have to rush into this.
He'll walk slightly slower. Just slightly.
Slightly slower. A little bit.
As you begin to slow down, Fenkin, Dhuur'in, as you begin to slow down, in fact, as soon as you begin to display any hesitance of any kind, there's a voice in your head, and you hear it say, "How's up, partner?" And as soon as you hear it, you guys realize that you've made your way into a clearing, and you step into a large area that seems to be something of a lumber mill, complete with 3 buildings and an open shed that houses several pieces of chopped wood. There is also kind of like a huge apparatus kind of meant for splitting felled trees down the middle. You know how that first town that you visit in Skyrim, there's that little little wood chopping area where you can take the hook and pull the tree trunks down and run it through the track. There's one of those, basically. The grass in this area has given away to a sandier gravel where it's been replaced, and abandoned axes and hacksaws kind of lay strewn about, along with pieces of half-cut wood. Clearly somebody was in the middle of the workday, and they just kind of all stopped. But the mill itself has not been abandoned, because 50 to 60 rat men surround the entire area. They're kind of skittering about the complex, picking up loot, arguing over it, chewing on dead bodies. You can see them kind of hopping from building to building. Sometimes a skirmish breaks out, and when it kind of dies away, a rat man lies dead, kind of being shanked in the gut by its brethren. But there's a lot of rats here. And luckily they haven't seen you yet, because you haven't completely stepped into the clearing.
Dhuur'in runs in. Sorry, I'm stretching. I think Oz is gonna pipe up and lean over and be like, "How do we get in?"
Fenkin hears her, and then as he looks around, he says, "Maybe I can sneak around and see if I can find a way in."
We killed their king. We killed their rat leader.
We did, but we don't know.
Are you saying that in character, Dhuur'in?
No, I'm reminding everybody.
Okay. Well, you killed a pack master.
That wasn't
Shit.
We get in there and it's fucking Splinter from Ninja Turtles on the fucking throne. No! Did you put Master Splinter on the Rat King? Are you fucking with me right now?
So as you guys kind of crouch down in the clearing and you watch this horde of rats going about their business, I would like you all to make a perception check.
Yeah.
All right.
Perception. Wow, wow.
5.
I mean,
perceiving nothing.
Shit, I meant stealth. I'm sorry, I meant stealth. I'm so sorry.
Oh, okay.
God damn it.
Fine.
Remind me of my advantage.
Stealth. I got a 16.
Okay.
I got a 15.
All right.
Well,
Connor, help me. I forgot my because I have advantage on stealth. How do I? What is it?
You only have advantage on stealth when I say you have, but what you have is proficiency in stealth. So
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like the what does that do?
basically you're a lot better at stealthing than like most characters are. So what's your dexterity bonus right now?
The dexterity?
Yeah.
I mean proficiency.
My dexterity is +3.
+3. Okay. So that means when you make a stealth roll, you can add your proficiency bonus to it. So you would end up adding +5 to your overall roll.
Oh, also I got 22.
All right.
Casually.
What?
Just casually.
19.
19. What'd you get,
One.
Ozla?
15.
15. Okay.
Am I just underneath it? Fuck's sake.
Did somebody get 12? I swear I heard 12.
I got 12.
Yep, okay. So,
Oh no.
Shit.
there's a moment where you guys are kind of like shifting around, and Dhuur'in, you've spent most of your time in a cave. You're not really like a forest guy. So, the snapping of a branch underfoot isn't really something that you think about.
Mm-mm.
And unfortunately, snap a branch underfoot, you do indeed. Almost like a gunshot, this crack of this little branch echoes out, and all the rats stop. And as soon as they do, red eyes from deeper into the forest start to glint as they all turn towards you. And before you guys know it, there's suddenly a whirlwind of chittering and screaming and gnashing teeth as they swirl around you. And eventually, on all sides, you're surrounded by these ratmen who are like poking at you with spears and swords and shit. And they're inching closer and closer. None of them want to like make the next move because you all kind of like have your weapons drawn at this point, I'm assuming. And you're just kind of like flashing out and try to keep them at bay. But then,
want to whip around.
But then, a shadowy figure detaches itself from the canopy above your head.
Oh.
You don't notice it at first, for when it touches the floor, there is no sound.
Ooh.
But Nux. No.
Yes.
Fenkin. Sorry. Fenkin.
No.
As you kind of like brandish your short sword to kind of like shoo away another rat that was like taking a swipe at you, you turn around and slowly you see a figure stand up. It's another rat, you can tell, but this one is not at all like the others. Through the dense sound of the chittering and the snickering and the clattering of blades, you watch as this figure stands up. Snow white fur standing out against a hood of black. In its two pink fleshy hands, it carries two kind of like curved swords, which are of a far nicer quality than anything the other rats are holding. This rat stands straight up, like a man would. Where the other rats are like kind of hunched over, this one stands completely straight. And he looks directly at you with two red glowing eyes. There's a gash going down his snout from this side right here. And a pink tail, again, snaps out behind him. And you can tell that this rat is not like the others. And as soon as the other rats kind of like see him, they back away. And suddenly he holds his sword up. And there's silence.
Yes, so Fenkin with his sort of elvish senses looks around to see this towering figure. I don't know how tall is this figure.
He's about as tall as Gesh.
Alright, yeah, this huge figure is like, looming over them, and he turns around with his sword, still like poking out aimed towards like the closest rat, and he just like, and then he says, "Nobody move."
There's a moment where the rat closes his eyes, and you can see his kind of snout nose twitch as he takes in a deep breath. And in perfect common, man flesh.
Oh, no.
How I've missed the smell.
Did he say man flesh?
Man flesh.
Is it human flesh or like overall like non-rat flesh?
Man flesh.
Okay.
There's a shudder like of Fenkin's spine, and he's like, okay, fuck.
He starts to like prowl around like a caged lion around you guys, dragging his swords behind him, which causes sparks to kick up from the gravel as he goes. And he's kind of like looking at a time.
Fenkin follows him with a short sword, like instead of poking towards the rat, he's like aiming his paws at him. He's following him with his sword lip.
He sniffs the air again, and he's like, oh, "You're not like the others. No. You're different. Still soft, yes, but different." And he finally stops in front of Fenkin again after he's made like a full circle with all the rats kind of like there's the occasional chuckle and chitter from the rats as they as he circles you, and there's clearly like great respect from all these other pack rats for this leaner kind of alpha rat of sorts. And he kind of cracks his neck and looks at your sword, and he says, "Oh, fine blade, yes." And Fenkin, before you realize it, his arm is raised. You didn't see it move, but you hear a clattering sound. And when you look down, you see you're only holding the hilt of your sword, because the blade has been sliced away.
Oh, God.
My short sword, no!
Oh, God.
He's just like, he hears the noise, and he was staring intently at the huge rat, like scared enough to not dare to look away, but then he hears the noise, and he feels a shift in his hand, and he looks down, and he just sees the hilt of his short sword, and he's like, oh. Like,
Huh? Well, seeing this, Gesh instantly runs right in front of Fenkin, just stands there between the two, and he goes, "If you want to fight anyone, you'll be fighting me, not them."
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, okay.
Can I aid him?
Persuasion check.
Because I want to deal with the rat.
Okay, do I remove my short sword from my inventory?
I mean, you can keep the hilt if you want, but you don't have the blade no more.
Whispers, I have mending, don't worry.
Oh.
Okay. What does you know how I have one inspiration, right?
Yes.
Can I use that?
You may.
So did you do a bad roll?
It wasn't a very good roll at all. So do I get to roll again?
You do get to roll again, yes.
Yeah, it just gives you advantage, yeah.
Can I say while this is going on, Oz pulls Fenkin back just a little bit?
Also, Connor, when you were like describing how the rat was kind of like, aimed in at Fenkin. I was expecting you to say, virgin meat.
No.
Oh, God.
That was the only reason in my head that he would be like, young, supple flesh.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
so that's a 10.
Okay, well,
Uh,
fortunately for
wait,
you.
no.
Fortunately for you.
Wait, no. That's an 11. Sorry. This was-
Yeah.
Even so,
11.
fortunately,
Yeah.
as soon as you like rush in front of the rat, he kind of like snarls for a second, but then sees you holding a quarterstaff, and you see him kind of like look over your stance. And the way he moves, he's kind of like always in motion, almost like silk in water. And he's kind of like looking over you with his tail thrashing, and he seems very interested. And at this point, he's ignoring everybody else. And finally, he smiles a sneering smile that shows off the rows and rows of crooked rat teeth.
Oh,
And
God.
he says, You also follow Path of the Fist. You also Chi user. Yes.
Yes. And
Then is as you say. We fight. And as soon as he says that, all the rats around him, they just start cheering and shouting, and you hear fight from all the rats all around you. And once again, he like punches the air and hisses to get them all to shut up. And he looks at you, Gesh, and he says, You and I, not like most men. No.
He's not a man.
Me. I don't care about this pack. It's not my pack. No. Only pack for Snagrat. This pack of the Fist. Yes.
you know,
You and
you are saying quite a few many things, but honestly, if you need these words to do anything, then clearly you're not much of a fight, are you?
I can tell. You are good challenge. Yes. Good challenge. I was promised. Good challenge.
And I can tell that you're a bad challenge.
So you watch as Snagrat, still smiling, grabs the shoulder of his robes and tears it away and throws it towards the towards the other rats. And you can see that his body is covered in scars, but you can also see there's like slits over his skin where knives have been inserted, daggers of all shapes and sizes.
Christ, Jesus.
And he cracks his neck and he says, I have deal pact to make. I win. I eat that one. And he points to Fenkin.
Oh.
It's just like, and then he and Gesh like,
and he then points at you, Gesh, and he says, "But you win. Then we go, and I tell you where to find Broodlord. Yes.
That's acceptable.
That's what Broodlord is.
excuse me.
Nox, who has had her hand on her sword this whole time, just kind of tensely watching at Gesh saying that's acceptable to the possibility of letting one of the party members get eaten, she kind of goes, and she like steps up a little bit, and she says to the big scary rat, she says, "And what is to stop us from killing all of you right now instead?"
Oh.
The Snagrat snarls at you, and in a flash of movement, he's suddenly in front of you, Nox. And he says, "Not speaking to you." And suddenly, he slugs you in the gut, much faster than you can see, and you're knocked back 10 feet, and you fall prone.
Oh, damn. That's a tough boy.
Fuck.
Monk v. Monk.
I'm so gonna die. I'm so gonna die.
So basically, Gesh, you were looking at this rat, and then suddenly, as soon as you heard Nox speak up, you saw his head turn, and then he wasn't there. And when you look around, you see Nox, like, clattering away 10 feet.
He sees this as well, and he's just like clenching his teeth, like, "You better win this!"
And then he looks back at you, Gesh, and he makes his way back over, and he slides a knife out of his collarbone. And he brings it up to his hand, and he slices his palm, and he sticks it out, and he says, "We fight? Yes, yes. Deal pact? Yes, yes."
Blood pact.
Nox, give Gesh some inspiration.
I'm waiting for this to end so that I can, go ahead.
So he nods, takes the knife, slashes his wrist, his palm, and the wrist.
Oh God! Please no.
So he does the same thing the rat guy did, and then that's the fact.
All right. Whoa. So as you shake his hand, you feel like a vice grip has just like clapped around your hand and is currently squeezing the bone, and you're able to deliver back just as much pressure. But in that moment, you realize kind of exactly what you're dealing with, because you've felt handshakes like this before from the masters at Iman. Now, before we continue, I have to pee really fast, so I'll be right back.
Okay. No! Hold it! No! I want to hear that!
Oh my God.
Yes, please. You're very cool right just now. You're extremely cool just now, but please don't let
tag me in. Tag me in!
Does anybody have any buff spells?
I've still got a die of bardic inspiration. You can have that for what it's worth.
I also have.
I shouldn't have used up my inspiration. God damn it.
It's okay.
Can I use how many times in like one combat sequence can I use bardic inspiration? Because I still have 3. Can I just keep yelling? Can I just keep yelling inspirational phrases at Gesh every time before he takes a turn so that he can get better attack rolls?
Probably.
I mean, yeah.
I gotta ask Cotter about that. Yeah, because I mean, she will. She'll sit there and yell at him.
I'm going to be the one in the fight, so I'm going to be in the fight. So it might not work.
Also,
I mean, you're going to be in the sidelines.
Yeah.
I'll ask him how that works. Otherwise, she'll use one regardless before he starts to fight. So you can use that for your initiative or whatever.
Tag me in.
I am terrified for Fenkin's safety, but I'm also so fucking excited to see Gesh in action.
Yes! Oh my God, this is gonna be so cool. I'm so excited.
It reminds me of the
I can't wait for Gesh to die. I mean, I'll win.
That reminds me of Critical Role when Grog went up against a half-orc fighter. Not a fighter, half-orc barbarian.
Because I'm genuinely curious, like, does rats just have a taste for first halflings and now elvish people, or like
maybe? I mean, Fenkin is like the prettiest one in the party.
I was about to say the other options are furry, scaly, made of darkness, and Ozla. So it can only be Ozla or Fenkin, really.
But wouldn't he want like all of us? Why Fenkin?
I mean, ideally, yeah. I would assume that if Gesh gets killed, he's not going to stop at Fenkin to kill the rest of us.
Well, I mean, he'll probably just let all the other rats kill you.
Yeah, probably.
If that happens, which I am hoping it doesn't.
We'll see. You never know.
Okay.
We're making plans.
So,
please save my soul.
So, we left off on the handshake, and then I had to go pee really bad.
And then Nox gave Gesh a bardic inspiration.
Really?
Going to.
Okay.
No, I didn't do it off. I did not do it off screen, but I will.
All right. So, here's how it'll work. So as soon as like the handshake is done, kind of like a hype man trying to get the crowd reared up. You see Snagrat raise his two curved swords, which are kind of like serrated wakizashi almost, and he like clangs them in the air, making sparks. And every time he clangs them, the rats go fucking nuts. They're like pumping their weapons in the air. And eventually, two rats per person come up and grab you guys by the wrists and pull you back into the crowd until there's only Gesh and Snagrat in the circle. Knock someone comes along to drag you away too.
Before we continue, a couple quick questions. One, are the rest of us being physically restrained?
You're just being pulled back into the circle.
You're just pulled into the.
But it seems kind of obvious that if anybody tries to step in, we're
gonna get murked.
You're gonna get murked by 60 rats.
Yeah. Second question: are there? Sorry if I missed this in an earlier description, but like, what objects are in the room with us? Is there really anything? No room.
You're still outside.
Oh, we're outside.
Yeah.
Oh, why did I think we went inside? Oh no, you talked about the building, but we didn't go inside the building. Okay, sorry. So we're in the like cutting kind of area.
Yeah. You're kind of like there's three buildings. They're kind of like, here's one building, here's another building, here's another building, and the sawmill is kind of like up here. You're kind of in this circular area right here.
Okay. Nox is going to, after being, I will assume, very rudely pulled to her feet and pulled back into the crowd. She kind of like went through all the excited rats to look at what's happening, kind of seeing that, okay, this is about to be a fucking cage fight. She quickly works her way kind of through the crowd, not like towards the area where they're fighting, but around to where to where there's some like cut lumber kind of chilling. And she goes over to this pile of logs, and she will pick up a couple of stones, small ones, not particularly threatening, just some little stones that are on the ground scattered about. And she will take a moment to try to like maybe stand on a log for a second so that she can be taller, just so that she could like see Gesh. And she'll yell, "Dragonborn!"
Stealth check.
Stealth check.
Stealth check.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
He doesn't hear her.
Just want to hear
Yelling check. 14.
14. Okay. So, unfortunately, as you kneel down to grab some of the rocks, there's suddenly like a blade right by your nose, and you look up to see a rat man pointing a spear at you, just kind of sneering.
She looks at him flatly and she says, "Do you want drums or no?"
Kaskisk?
Kask. Oh, he said something in rat.
Yeah.
She looks at him. She looks at the logs that are by her, and then she pantomimes drumming, and she's like, "Drums."
Oh, Kraskisk! Kraskisk!
Yes, makes for a good fight. Yes.
Crash! Oh. And he lets you up.
She goes. Can we assume that she was interrupted before she yelled for Gesh?
Yeah.
Okay, so she'll still yell for Gesh to just to get his attention. And then she's kind of like I said, she's kind of standing up to try to see if she can be seen through all these rats, and she'll hold up her little drumstick stones that she's got, and she says, sorry. Really bad time for me to choke on my spit. She didn't say this. This is not her choking. Okay. Jesus Christ. Sorry. Okay. She says, Dragonborn, we are all rooting for you, but you already know that you got this. I have not seen you choke yet, and this will not be the first time, right?
So, Gesh, as Snagrat is still pumping up the crowd, you're kind of steeling yourself and getting ready. You still got your robes on too, but you hear a familiar voice and you look over to see Nox standing over the rats with rocks in her hand.
Some little stones, yeah. Those are going to be her drumsticks. Little rocks. They're just like something that she would have found on the ground. Yeah, yelling at him.
What?
Roll to see if he hears it.
It's true. He doesn't hear shit.
He just sort of waves over. He doesn't actually want to shout out anything.
He just kind of acknowledging wave. Yeah. She goes, all right then. And then in a voice loud enough to kind of be a yell, she yells, then let's fight! And that is her bardic inspiration that she's going to give to Gesh.
Take your dice.
You have your little die. And she is going to be drumming for this fight.
on what?
On the logs.
Oh, on the logs. I thought you just started drumming on a rat, and by the end of it.
Oh no. Do you want me to make a check for that, or does it matter? She's not really trying to do anything. She's just drumming to.
I mean,
to do
you can
something.
make a performance check if you want. He's already got the bardic inspiration.
I can see how well it went.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you wait? I'm sorry. If you have a proficiency with a certain instrument and you're playing that instrument, does that mean you add the proficiency bonus to the check?
No, it just means you can use that instrument.
It just means you can use it. Okay, gotcha. All right, cool. Because I'm actually not proficient in performance, which is odd, but whatever.
First bard I've ever known to take that option, but
I know, right?
Wow, what you just got a drag.
It's fine. 17.
It's really good. It's rhythmic.
It's some good drumming.
Yeah.
And as the rhythms sound out across the pit, Gesh remembers his days as a pit fighter, back before he met any of them. And he quickly, he pulls down his hood and throws it away before getting into a stance, ready to take down this rat bastard.
All right.
In the face.
So you guys watch for the first time since the bathhouse, the robe come off completely, and for some reason in this natural setting of battle, the muscles that gleam and bulge under the scales are a majestic sight. This is not just a monk. This is a fighter in his pure prime.
Fuck.
This is a mythic legend in the making. And as you take your stance, Gesh, Snagrat cracks his neck, turns towards you, and takes another knife out of his collarbone. He flips it in his hand, and he says, "We fight when blade touches ground. Are you ready, child of the east?"
No.
Oh, I'm ready.
Then
Don't you dare.
one of us dies. Now! And you watch as the knife sails into the air and sinks into the ground. And as soon as it does, you look up and he's not there. All of you watch as Snagrat vanishes in a puff of smoke. And for like a solid 5 or so seconds, it doesn't seem like he's anywhere to be seen. But everybody watching, there's another puff of smoke behind Gesh as suddenly he reappears, pinwheeling his leg out to slam into the back of Gesh's back.
Behind you!
And you take 7 damage.
What? I don't even get 7
Right.
damage.
It was a
I was
surprise
surprised.
Right. Great.
Oh, by
The
the way,
rest
what's
of
your
them was
total?
cheering on.
15.
15, okay. Got it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm on 8 now.
Sorry, I had to change the music to something more fitting.
Is it no copyright?
It is.
Okay, good.
Alright, so Gesh, as Snagrat's leg snaps out on your back, you're knocked forward 10 feet, and you're able to stay up, but god, that fucking hurt. And now it's time to roll initiative.
Okay.
You better go first, Gesh.
Okay.
Fenkin is fucking sweating right now. He's sweating so much.
You're gonna die.
Thanks.
Ready.
Oh, Dhuur'in elbowed his way to the front of the crowd so he could see.
I'm guessing Fenkin is sort of held in place in a way.
Yeah.
Just being, he's just kind of standing there.
Anybody who's struggling to get away is being held back by rats.
He's like, don't touch me! Ew!
I'm
Disgusting!
making my bony elbows.
Hey, that
You
was
throwing elbows.
that was a 15.
Okay, good for you. You're going first, buddy.
Oh, thank God. Okay. Right.
Sweep the leg.
Fuck him up.
Fuck him up, fuck him up, fuck him up!
Kill him!
Break his neck!
Gesh, do you have any health potions?
No.
I have one.
What are you gonna do with it?
Well, if you throw it
Throw it at him?
me, they're gonna try and kill you. So. No.
Probably.
Just throw it!
Yeah, can I just
Wait, you need to drink a health potion.
Hmm.
If he gets hurt, can you not just aim it at him and throw it, or do you have to drink it?
You have to drink it.
Damn it.
Yes, it's not a splash potion, unfortunately.
Damn it.
All right. So after that blow to him, he swivels round and starts pouring ki into himself, preparing his flurry of blows. And he rushes straight forward, going right for a punch into the gut.
Alright. Attack roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God.
I only now noticed that there
It's making me nervous.
Oh no.
That's a 13.
That just hits. That just
Oh, fuck. Okay. Right.
Vinn's drinking. And Flurry of Blows lets you make 2 unarmed attacks after you land this attack. So go ahead and roll.
Right.
Go ahead and roll. Let's go ahead and roll the unarmed attacks as well, see if those hit, and if they do, you can just roll the damage all at once.
Oh. Okay.
Alright, damn.
I'm gonna take note of the damage because, yeah. So that one would have been a 6, and I'm gonna roll the other 2.
All right.
Get him. Come on, guys. Take him. I'm real stressed.
So I'll roll 2 attack rolls and then 2 damage rolls, or
Yeah, if
Provided
the
they
attack, you roll the attack rolls for the unarmed strikes, and if they hit, you'll roll for the damage.
okay.
So you need to get above 13.
Yeah, above 13. Oh, that's easy.
You can do it, Gesh! We believe in you! Oh, we're all just cheering on the sidelines, like, get him! Get him!
Okay, so the first one didn't hit. I mean, the second one technically didn't hit
Okay.
because it's a 12, and this one does hit because it's a 19, and I don't need to add anything for that one. So yeah.
So roll for your quarterstaff and then your unarmed attack.
Well, he already rolled for his quarterstaff. He got a 6.
Oh right, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a D4, right?
A D4 plus your strength or your dexterity,
Hit.
whichever
Yeah.
one's higher.
Whichever one's higher.
He also has an inspiration dice, doesn't he?
He
Does
does.
that
Yeah.
do anything?
No. Oh yeah, you can't use that on your damage.
Damn.
You can only use it to hit.
I know it would be great if you could use it on your damage, but unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I can't. Can I
Wait,
use
can't
it
you
on
roll
the
that
attack
one
roll
again
that
then?
I didn't have?
Yeah, I'll let you use that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the first one. Okay, come on, please. You better.
Wait, okay, real quick question for Connor. I still have 2 Bardic Inspiration to burn. Can I use that on this combat sequence, or no? Or like another, I don't know if I'd use both, but...
I will say you can use it after the rat's turn, after Snag Rat's turn.
Yeah, after
Okay.
rolling again, it was a 15. So.
That is.
Yes!
3.
Okay,
Yes!
So.
Get your damage.
I'll, 2 d4s for damage. Yeah.
And then add your dex or strength to both of them.
Yes. Yeah.
So 6 plus.
So that's a 6, a 7, and a 7.
Woo!
What?
Which. Yeah. Yeah, I got
That's
4 on both
20
of them.
damage.
I got 4
Jesus
on both.
Christ, Gesh!
Okay.
Christ in heaven, Gesh!
No! Fuck yeah, Gesh.
Plenty
Fuck
damage.
them up.
How much damage?
20.
20.
Fuck. Okay, so.
He's dead, bro. He's gone. Rest in pepperoni.
So you rush up, twirling your quarterstaff, and he's kind of like surprised by like how much speed you actually have, and he wasn't able to like block the quarterstaff, but like let's say you went in for 2 strikes with your quarterstaff, and he was able to like block the other one, but that opened him up for like two punches to the gut, which stagger him back. And you watch as like blood flies from his nose and his mouth.
Ooh.
Yeah!
Kill him!
Nox is just like, Nox is yelling from where she's drumming.
And he staggers back. And he's still up.
And he is pissed. Kirby's fucking
How did
pissed.
you give this fucking round?
God.
And his eyes now bloodshot red. just stare directly at you as he like clutches his gut, and he rushes towards you again to make his attacks.
Oh!
It.
Yeah,
Oh god. Please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die.
Oh wait, how low's your health?
It's 8, man.
Alright, so he unleashed his own flurry of blows. Fortunately for you, only one of them hit, which means you're going to only be taking 5 damage. But you guys watch as these two masters of their craft suddenly clash. You see a flurry of punches and kicks that you can barely track with your mortal eyes as they parry and block and punch. And you even watch as Snagrat like pinwheel kicks in the air and Gesh is able to catch his ankle before his tail snatches out to whip him in the back again, which is what causes the 5 damage. And it's almost like a fight between starving dogs.
Oh god. Oh god.
Inspiration!
One
more inspiration, Nox!
Is that his turn? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's Snagrat's turn.
He's on health.
What's up, Fenkin? What's up?
Is it not allowed to use a health potion at him? Is it not
going to be able to get it?
I mean, I didn't say it's not allowed. I didn't say you wouldn't get stuck with a knife.
Oh god.
I'm gonna do it anyway, honestly.
But then he'd have to catch it, and it could shatter.
Oh my god.
He absolutely can.
Do you want to throw a health potion?
I have to think about it.
Okay.
Save it.
Can Nox inspire again?
Nox can absolutely inspire again, yes.
Okay. She's still drumming. Obviously, she's been keeping up the music this whole time, kind of like not nearly as exciting as this music is that's playing right now. Like just kind of keeping like a more steady beat. But like as things are getting more intense, and as she sees that, despite Gesh unleashing a very powerful attack on this guy, he's still obviously standing and obviously capable of dealing some damage. She kind of like has a couple of like dramatic, loud like dum 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 beats that she does, and then she stops for a second and she like stands up a little bit from where she was crouching to drum and yells at Gesh, and she says, Dragonborn! I was about to say Dragonborn, he's just a rat, but that's probably not an inspiring thing to say. So say, Dragonborn, come on, center yourself. You've got this. And then she'll keep drumming again, but it's a lot more like invigorated now, a lot louder, kind of using some of her bardic magic to sort of pour her own energy into her performance, in the hopes that will carry over to him. And you have another bardic inspiration die.
Take your dice.
Okay.
And as you two kind of like dance across the battleground, blocking and parrying blows, it is now your turn, Gesh.
So,
again.
Yeah, can I use flurry of blows again, or
do you have another chi point to burn?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you can.
Hell yes. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. He comes straight back, but this time it's more sporadic within him because he knows it's his last one. And he goes forward, pushes forward with his quarterstaff to try and just. He tries to jab it in the eye of this guy.
Okay, roll your attack.
Don't forget your inspiration. Your DM.
Yeah.
Oh wait! Oh wait! Oh shit!
One.
No, sorry. I just realized that I have more bardic inspiration than I thought. Continue.
Oh,
Yay! Okay. 2 more. I might burn them all right now. I've got 2 more.
Natural 20. Natural 20.
Fuck
Okay.
him up, Gesh!
So now I'm gonna roll for the. I'll roll for the other 2 unarmed strikes.
That's right. Yes.
Oh.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Okay.
And then
that-
you'll
was that
double
her-
damage for your quarterstaff.
That was the quarterstaff strike that got a nat 20?
Yeah, that's the course.
Yes!
Fucking hell!
Yeah, D8. Yeah, I'll roll the damage for that first, and then I'll do the.
Okay.
Mhm.
So, that's a advantage on this, or
No, you'll
double
roll the damage dice and then double it. And
Oh.
then add your...
oh right, yes, okay. Ooh, boy.
Gesh.
Get.
Hey, that's a 15.
Oh, disgusting.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
nasty.
not from down.
gross.
Okay.
You're so sexy. Your dicks are so big.
Your dick's so big!
Roll your attacks for your unarmed strikes.
Okay, yep, I can do that.
Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck.
Good night, sweet rat prince.
Okay.
I don't know. He might have like 100 health points. We have no idea.
Swear to God, Connor, if you're giving us that, I'm gonna. Don't smile like
He really wanted Gesh to die. He did say he was gonna kill Gesh. He did say this.
Okay, so that first
actually-
one's yeah, this first one's a 15. So does that
Hits.
okay. And for my next trick. $13 just hits, right?
13 just hits.
Okay, yeah, so both of those hit. And now to roll damage.
Oh. Oh. Yeah. Gesh. Oh, no.
D4 plus dex. D4 plus dex.
You already did 15 damage, so anything you do at this point is a good bonus.
Okay, so that's 15 for the staff,
For the quarterstaff, yep.
and a 4, and another 4.
All right. So,
That's 23 for the not math inclined, such as myself.
yeah. So, Gesh,
20 fucking 3.
you guys
Oh,
again
that's my
are dancing
thought.
around the battlefield, and you're exchanging blows and punches. And there's a moment where a strike kind of slips past your guard, and just before it hits you in the face, your vision goes white.
Oh.
For a split, you fall, and you hit the ground. But when you look up, you're not an adult dragon.
Oh.
You look down at yourself, and all your features are so much smaller than they used to be.
Oh.
You're a child again.
Oh.
And you're no longer in the forest near this mill house, near this lumber yard in Alfield. You're back in Amon. You're back in the basement of the class headquarters. You're in the fighting ring, and you've just been punched in the face.
Oh.
Your nose hurts a lot. And as you get up with tears in your eyes, you kind of like clap your little baby Dragonborn hands over your snout. As you kind of like wince in pain. But then you hear the clanking of metal. And somebody very tall stands over you. before crouching down. He looks like a soldier, but you've known this man for a long time. And he looks at you with a bit of like empathy and disappointment, and he says, "Come on, Gesh. I've seen you take bigger hits than that. What, you're gonna cry just because of this? Let me ask you something. Does it hurt now? Yeah, it fucking does. A lot of things are gonna hurt in this life. A lot of them. But eventually, they stop. They stop hurting. And you can ignore the hurt. You can get back up. You're not like the rest of them, Gesh. Right in here. That's where you keep the storm. That's where you keep it. And as the memory fades, Gesh, your vision is no longer white. And the world is so slow around you. And with supernatural speed, you duck past this fist. Your own hand curls up, and you all watch as lightning plays across his arm. You hear the sound of a draconic roar that sends birds scattering across the forest floor and up into the canopy. And Gesh, you bring this lightning-covered fist forward, and you slam into Snagrat. You all watch as something bulges out of Snagrat's back, as his eyes bulge in disbelief. And as time begins to speed up again and resumes its normal pace for you, Gesh, your hand flashes out, and Snagrat shoots back into the forest. Trees crack wherever he slams back. Trunks are sundered as he's sent sailing back further and further and further into the forest, leaving behind a trail of utter and absolute devastation, until finally he comes to a stop, hitting a boulder that cracks under the impact. All is silent. Your fist smokes as steam curls up into alien shapes. And you stand triumphantly, lightning playing across your scales. You are Gesh, the Rat Breaker.
So, which one of you will tell me who the
Broodmaster.
Who the Broodmaster is?
There's utter silence for a minute from everybody, including the shepherds, before a rat calls out, "Snagrat! Snagrat defeated! Run, flee! Run, flee!" And suddenly all the rats are screaming. They drop their swords and their blades, and it's utter chaos as they trip over themselves trying to escape into the woods. They vanish out of sight as they trip over one another. And eventually, all that's left are the shepherds and Snagrat, who is, I'm gonna say, about 30 feet away.
Yay!
And
All the shepherds running.
Fenkin has been holding his breath this whole time. And then when he realizes that Gesh has won, he heaves a shaky breath and he falls to his knees. And then he just sort of stands on his knees like...
she's gonna go make her way over to the rat that is just got the shit beat out of him. But before she does that, she pauses by Fenkin and she pats him on the shoulder and she says, "You live another day." And then she goes off.
glares off her like.
Ozla runs straight up to Gesh and like he's holding his arm up, isn't he?
Yes.
One arm. Yeah.
Triumphantly, yeah.
So she runs up to him and she immediately leaps at his arm and goes to hang off it.
Swings off it.
Both hands, and she's like, "Fucking hell! Holy shit, dude!"
I have actual goosebumps.
That was so cool.
We want to get slow, we got it!
Oh.
I'm gonna bring Gesh's robe back.
And Gesh, as the adrenaline starts to die down, oh god, does everything hurt. Everything hurts so bad.
So as everything comes to him, the exhaustion of how much he's done, he just falls to his knees. He's just panting. Just...
Pat.
You did good, mate. You did fucking brilliant, mate.
Alright.
Can I
Go ahead, Fenkin, sorry.
No, I was gonna say that Fenkin, like, after collecting himself, he gets up on, like, shaky legs and makes his way over to Gesh. And he sort of crouches down next to him and looks at him. He bites his lips for a bit and then finally speaks and is like, I am fully aware you did not do this for me, but thank you. Anyway. And he fishes out his health potion and he hands it over to Gesh.
As Gesh takes it, he goes, "What makes you say that?"
He's stunned at that. His mouth goes open. He's like, and then he gives him like a look, like, you need to say otherwise.
That's what I said, isn't it?
He's just like speechless at that point. He's just staring at him like.
All right. So, as this is happening, Nox, you make your way over to Snagrat, who is kind of like sitting propped up against the boulder, his head down, and his ears are kind of drooped, so you can't really see his eyes.
Nox makes her way over to him. She had her kind of hand on her sword, and as she starts to get closer, she will draw her sword, her rapier. Oh wait, no, wait. Okay, sorry, I got confused for a second about what her sword was. Yeah, I forgot that it's right. She has the staff. Okay, so she won't do that. Actually, that works better. So she has her staff. She will not transform it into a sword, but she uses it as a staff and kind of puts the end of it on his head to like push his head back so that she can see his face.
All right. So as you put Courage's crook under his chin and kind of tilt it up, you see that he's not even looking at what's touching him. He's not even looking at you. Snagrat's eyes are just wide open in utter disbelief. He's not knocked out. He's fully conscious. You can hear his raspy breathing. But he's just utterly shell-shocked.
Ooh. She looks at him for a second, still holding the staff to hold his head up. And then she kind of huffs a little bit and she says, "You're a leader. Where is he?"
Snagrat kind of huffs. And slowly looks up at you, Nox. And he says, Who is that?
Ours.
Very, very dramatic. Oh geez, that's such a good line. I feel like I have to have a really badass response, and I can't think of one.
Just let the character talk.
Say ours.
He is ours. Oh, that's true. Okay, yeah. She looks at him again for another few seconds. It's like very obvious that she's like taking pleasure in this, mostly just because like he punched her earlier, and she's like, "Haha, fuck you, you got hurt." And she just says, "His name is Gesh, the shepherd."
Gesh, shepherd. What is he?
chuckles a little bit and says, "It's just someone that you should know better than to mess with."
He nods, and there's kind of like a moment where he coughs and blood spatters across Courage, and he says, "I've never been beaten so thoroughly. I've never felt pain such as this."
Oh.
And then slowly he smiles, and it's a genuine smile, not like a sneer.
Ooh.
And he looks up at you, puts his paw on Courage, and says, "You tell this Gesh I will be back in 10 years' time."
Jesus Christ.
What?
You just made a fucking arch nemesis.
Great. Yay.
Oh my god. He can see her lip kind of curl in like a bit of a snarl. And she pushes Courage harder against his chest. I mean, it's a blunt object, so it's not like it, is causing him pain. But she does push it in harder, and she says, "Your leader, you promised his location."
And I am nothing, if not rat of my word. And he takes his hand off of the crook, and he points it at the mill house, which is the biggest building out of the trio of buildings. In the basement.
Basement.
And you tell him Snagrat is not coming to help him this time. And slowly he stands up, kind of like picking up a wooden stick, and he uses it to push himself up.
Oh god.
And he takes his swords
We
off his belt.
lost Sophie.
Oh, she'll be back.
Okay.
And he takes his swords off his belt and drops them on the ground. And he says, 10 years' time, you tell him Snagrat will be waiting. And slowly he turns and he makes his way into the forest and vanishes.
Wait, can I had a roleplay thing I really wanted to do.
He's gone. Sorry, he's gone.
Oh no!
This conversation ends so I can do it.
No. She kind of stands there, watches him for a second, considers like going after him just to like see if she can finish him off, and then she's like, no, that's probably not a good idea. So she'll just kind of sigh and then turn and walk back to the rest of the group, using Courage in staff form as a walking stick.
All right. So by this time, Gesh, I'm assuming you've drunk the health potion. Just chugged it like the fucking Gatorade champion you are.
Right. Instantly.
So, yeah, go ahead and heal back up for that. I believe that's 2d4.
I should know this by now. Hold on.
I don't know which type of health potion you gave me, so.
It's a basic health potion.
Basic health potion.
So that should be 2d4.
2d4 plus 2?
I think so.
Right. So you heal up 2d4 plus 2, Gesh.
So do I have to roll that then?
I'll roll it for you. Hang on.
Okay.
Oh shit. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You heal 9. You heal 9, buddy.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
Nice.
All right. So, Nox, as you make your way out back into the lumber yard, you see Gesh like chugging the health potion and then just like tossing it aside to the ground,
Shattering it. She comes over. She stops kind of next to Gesh, leans on her on her staff casually, and she says, "We will find the leader of this group in the basement of the largest building here." And she nods her head towards the... Was it the mill house, you said? The biggest building?
Yeah, the
that
mill
he
house.
gestured to? Yeah.
The mill house is kind of like this... it looks almost like a cottage, but double-storied. Mm-hmm. And it's got kind of like a water mill on the side of it that's constantly turning and churning water.
Okay. Yeah, so she nods to that, and then she looks to Gesh and she says, "The rat creature still lives, although you have made quite an impression on him. One that he will not soon forget. 10 years. If you are still around."
Well, if he wanted to get his ass beat again, he can try.
That makes her laugh. She says, "Good man. Good man."
All right. So with all this in mind, are you guys going to make your way towards the mill house?
I'm already going.
You guys turn to see Dhuur'in is already walking towards the mill house.
I'm already on my way.
Oh, wait, okay, before we go, Nox is going to go pick around in the grass until she finds the blade of Fenkin's sword, and then she's going to pick it up and bring it over to him and hold out her paw for the hilt.
Oh, Snagrat left his swords. We should probably take those.
Oh, yes, that's true.
He did drop some of them, yeah, that's true.
Only Nox knows about that.
Wow.
Oh, I guess, yeah, he dropped them where he was, didn't he?
Yeah.
Which was like 30 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
She is still going to go, first she's still going to go over to Fenkin so that she can fix his sword.
Fenkin is still caught up in everything that happened, and then he's just sort of still crouching down a bit, but slowly gets up and brushes off his clothes, and then it looks at Nox and sort of like, almost like a animal-like way, tilts his head at her as if not understanding what she wants. Like,
She gives him a look that is akin to the look that a mother gives a child who is not understanding her instructions, and says, "The hilt of your sword."
He's just like, "Oh," and then he picks it up, looks at it, sighs heavily, and then just like hands it over.
She'll take it from him. She has, as I said, she has the discarded blade in her other hand. She kind of just connects them, holds them together with her paws, sort of covering the point of connection with both of her hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a brief moment of like focus, and you can just kind of hear a very quiet line, like a simple single line of a melody that she hums. And as she does so, there's a little bit of a yellow glow between the cracks in her fingers. She holds it there for a good couple seconds, and then when she moves her hand away, you can see that it has been mended. And she hands the sword. She holds the sword out, hilt first, back towards Fenkin, and then she will nod her head towards where the Rat King was, where she talked to him and say, "He dropped a number of other swords. I did not look at them yet, but I would like to check to see if any of them are valuable."
Fenkin blinks at her, looks at the sword, accepts it in his hand, and just like waves it around for a bit, like, "Oh wow, it's really stuck on there, what the heck?" And then he gives her like a profound look, and he's like, "If I had another health potion, I would give it to you. Thank you." He looks visibly uncomfortable as he says this, because he's had to say thank you a lot today, and it's more than what he can handle.
That's rough, buddy. That's rough, man.
It's difficult for him. It's like, he's sort of blushing a little bit on like the tip of his elf ears, and then he sort of like sheaths his sword, and he's like, "Then let's go check it out." And then he sort of nods towards where the rat was, and he's like willing to come along with her.
Okay, yeah, right. She will head over there.
So, as you wander over to where Snagrat left his blades, it's they're basically a pair of two serrated scimitars. And despite what all the other rats were carrying, these are very nice and very well made. They've got kind of like black leather handles, and the bottom of the hilt has kind of like these circular bits, you know?
Mm-hmm. Nice, classy. She'll bend to pick one up and just kind of examine it. She examines the blade and looks at the hilt, and basically, like, you can maybe kind of tell by looking at the way that she's looking at it. She's not so much like looking at it as if to say, like, oh, like how good is this weapon? How effective is this weapon? She's more looking at it to be like, how much money would this be worth? So she's looking for any inscriptions or anything that would insinuate that it's worth more money. That's her main interest.
They don't really seem, beyond being serrated, they'd be very special. But
it's some nice swords.
They do seem like they'd fetch a good price at an armorer.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to take them with you?
Yeah, she has the one that she picked up, and after looking at it for a couple of seconds, she nods to herself and she says, "Worth keeping, I would say." And she'll kind of, is it? Well, I guess it is just the sword. I don't think he had a scabbard for it.
No, they were just the two scimitars.
All right. So she'll just have to fucking carry it. That's fine. And she nods at the other one and she says, "Will you take it?" To Fenkin. Sorry, to Fenkin.
Yeah, he kind of he kind of bends over and he picks it up and he weighs it in his hand and turns it over. Gives a look over to the rest of the group because he feels as if he hasn't contributed much. He feels like a princess that has just been rescued and he feels kind of bad about it. And so he's like a bit more withdrawn than what he usually would be. So he kind of looks around for approval as he holds it, to like waiting for someone else to say like, "I deserve that, thank you."
I'm already on my way to the mill house.
Yeah, well, Dhuur'in is gone. Dhuur'in is almost in the door.
All right. So, as you guys you both can add a scimitar to your inventory if you want to. Ooh. As you guys kind of collect as a group and follow Dhuur'in into the mill house, imagine, if you will, the camera panning up from where the fight first took place.
Yes.
The area around has been a bit scorched by the lightning, but as the view kind of comes up and up and up, further and further, to look over the canopy of the forest, it is not only the ground that's been scorched. For now, among the trees and among the leaves overhead, and only to be seen by birds and the gods themselves, has been scorched the insignia of a snarling dragon.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And with that, we will take a break.
Okay.